Welcome to Let's Run Facebook Ads, the podcast. Myself, James Urquhart, and today we are joined with Oli Hills, who is the CEO of Nonsensical Agency. And rather than me give you this huge introduction, Oli, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Thank you, James. Good to be here. Oli Hills, CEO at Nonsensical. We are a TikTok marketing agency, which it still seems baffling to actually say it, but that's where the world of social is going.
TikTok. We were talking obviously off air just now in terms of how just nuts the platform is. Before we go into that, how did Nonsensical start? How did you guys start? How did you get brought in? And a bit of a background on you guys would be amazing.
Yeah, cool. So think back nearly 11 years ago now in it started in London, but there was the riots. It's a very weird start to an agency, but the riots kicked off in North London. Obviously, then went across the UK, and Birmingham in particular was hit quite badly. So my former business partner, Luke, he basically created a Facebook page back in August 2011 to dispel myth and rumour around the city of Birmingham, around what was going on with the riots. And back in the days when Facebook was really quite easy to grow communities, it grew to 65,000 followers in 3 days. Basically just saying, like, the Children's Hospital isn't on fire, the Bull's head has not been knocked off, JD Sports is having a bit of a nightmare, but the mailbox is fine. So all of this stuff was going on, and Luke was there just, like, typing away on Facebook and got more traction than, like, the police, the local news and everything, and people just went to this Facebook page for information. So kept it going. Obviously, the riot stopped, thankfully. But the Facebook page just continued to grow. It was seen as like that source of information. And then Twitter started, Instagram started, and today it's at about 800 and something thousand followers. We're called Birmingham Updates, and we just keep the city up to date with what's going on. So that was the start. I got approached by the chairman back in December 2016. And asked if I wanted to take over as CEO, which was cool. I was running a tech startup at the time, had no idea about the world of social media, didn't even know what a press release was. And next thing you know, in January 2017, I took over. And we just continued to run Birmingham Updates. We started working with some really cool brands on advertising, native content, that type of thing. Sort of like the lad bible of local content, really. And then the pandemic hit, and all kind of went to pot a little bit. We lost 95% of our revenue in a week because most of our businesses who advertised with us were leisure, retail, hospitality. I mean, Birmingham Airport was a big client of ours, and everything just ground to a halt. So I got chatting to this guy called Sam down in Bristol, and he had a community called Best of Bristol, very similar to Birmingham Updates, and was just absolutely smashing it. Like, engagement rates on Instagram were unbelievable. And we were both pitching at the same time to Uber Eats. And so I phoned him up for a bit of advice and said, how are you structuring the deal? And then about 10 minutes into the phone call, it's like, why don't we just do this together? Like, you know what you're doing from a content side. He used to be head of digital marketing at Sun Life Insurance, and obviously understands the world of social and the likes. And I can nail a pretty decent spreadsheet. So together, we were perfect. So we merged in October 2020. And that's when we rebranded. So before we were Updates Media Limited, rebranded to Nonsensical to really reflect the crazy world of social media. Then at that point, obviously, TikTok was just everywhere during lockdown. It just had its absolute heyday. Every single video you saw on Instagram had a TikTok watermark on it, and you're like, this is nuts. So in like nonsensical fashion, we were like, well, we need to prove that we're good at this before we can go to market and say we can create content for our clients. So there was a lady in our team called Izzy. I said to Izzy, I was like, right, Izzy, what do you like the most? What would you like to create a community about? And she came to us and said, mythology. Love Assassin's Creed, big mythology fan. And me and Sam always being in the right. And we said, nah, it's too niche. So he said, why didn't you launch Endless History? So begrudgingly, she walked off, created this TikTok account called Endless History. First video was about something to do with the war. Then we had one on the suffragettes. Then we had one on LGBT rights over the years. And she just dropped in this video about, I think it was Thor or someone. Bang, 250,000 views. Okay, interesting. It's like, don't celebrate too much yet, Izzy. So she carried on going. Next mythology video, bang, 400,000 views. It's like, right, Izzy, you were right. Never ever listen to me and Sam ever again. We could rebrand to Endless Mythology, and that is now at 220,000 followers in 10 months.
Wow.
And then we said to Izzy, right, you're a machine. We need to create more communities because that's what we like doing. So she said, oh, I'm really passionate about LGBT. I said, right, sound Endless Pride. Off you go. Started that in December 2021. It's now at 27,000 followers in 2 months.
Wow.
Unreal. So our thing is we create communities. Mm-hmm. We like having our own communities. We like testing content. We like working out what really works on the platform. And then we bring that expertise through to our clients. So we now run TikTok communities on behalf of brands, whether that be in the public space, public sector, universities, sport. We run an Indian restaurant in Bristol. We run their TikTok account, which I was showing you beforehand. So yeah, we just have that real understanding of what works on TikTok, and we bring that expertise through to our clients.
So I'm guessing from Bristol and Birmingham updates, you've now moved across to TikTok now. They're not just on Facebook and Instagram.
Correct. Yeah. And we were out in Birmingham yesterday doing a video for Random Act of Kindness, interviewing people on the street. And it's just so good. And that just works on TikTok. It's just so good to have good quality presenters in the street asking questions. So we've had to change our content strategy quite a lot from what we were doing on Facebook and Instagram to kickstart the TikTok.
That's really, I'm glad you said that then. How has that changed then? Because a lot of companies that are listening to this are small business owners. They're using or they're trying to use Facebook and Instagram ads. We know it's getting harder, especially since the iOS update, shall I say. And a lot of them are looking across TikTok going, that looks hard. Obviously, we know, look, from an advertising perspective, that it's not as good yet. We know that. The data's just not available.
Yep.
But actually, when they are trying to move across and pivot to TikTok, what advice would you give, and what have you seen when going from Instagram to TikTok?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think the biggest thing, and every time I speak to a company about TikTok, they just turn around and say, isn't it just young kids dancing? And you're like, maybe when it was Musical.ly all those years ago, fair enough. But now it is unreal. They've got 23 million active users in the UK. It's fastest growing social media platform. They have average watch time is longer on TikTok per day than YouTube.
Yes, I saw that.
Bonkers.
Yeah, I saw that in the news recently. And when even I saw that, went, fucking hell.
I know.
That's crazy. And I think I've mentioned this on here before, but Liv, who works with us, she had to, like I said before, wean herself off it. She was on there for like 6 hours one day, just scrolling. But no, carry on. Sorry.
No, it's so true. So in terms of like different types of content, I think what TikTok has done, it's done two things. First and foremost, it doesn't really matter who you follow on TikTok. It's not a follower-led platform. So when you load the app, you go into the For You page. Now, this is videos that you have got no idea what is coming next. It's purely based on how long you view other videos, what you engage with, what you like, different accounts that you do follow. It does have that aspect to it, but you have to click away from the For You page to see videos from accounts that you follow. Now, when you go onto Instagram, 90% of the content you see is from people you follow. So all of a sudden, the content's very samey. So it gets a bit boring. Okay, and you look through your stories and you tap through them at a gazillion mile an hour because everyone's doing them now. But you go onto TikTok and just like, I've got no idea what's coming next. So that's the first major change. So discovery on TikTok is really, really powerful. So you can have 100 followers on TikTok and get 3 million views on a video. It's unreal.
I think TikTok have been very clever on how they've done that, because when you look at Instagram, you have to go away from your feed to discover something new. Which, again, your feed is quite boring. It's quite dull, And as we know from a Facebook and Instagram perspective, even if you have vast amount of followers, we did some work for Holland and Barrett last year, and their engagement, when you put it next to actually how many followers they've got, 1%, if that. We're looking at across the board now, 2 to 3% on average of people who are following you will actually even see your content, because if you're not engaging enough, Facebook and Instagram will not show your content.
Totally. And there's that wonderful boost button which Zuckerberg has got to fill about 37,000 yachts now, hasn't he, right? So what's he want? He wants you to press that boost button and just put money into the slot machine. That's what he wants.
It's a dopamine hit.
100%. 100%. So the content you create, brands now are just thinking, well, I'm going to have to boost that anyway. So they're thinking, they're losing that, like, what's actually going to work creatively? How do I actually get someone to stop and share this content? And meme pages are so good because they relate to you like that. They're 100% relatable. You scroll through your feed and you just go, that is me. Or, I know, that's James. So you tag them in it. Brands don't think like this. Brands want to stick their logo over everything and they just clutter your feed with loads of utter nonsense that you're not interested in. But with TikTok, going back to the second point, was actually you have to create content that is totally in line with the platform. Okay? So that could be that you need a presenter, someone who's good on camera, someone that's really engaging, that hooks you in 3 seconds. It could be trend-based. So what else is trending, whether that be a sound, whether that be a hashtag, whether that be a dance of some description. But you have to turn that trend where possible. Don't force it onto every single... don't force yourself into every trend. But when there's a trend that works, you have to think creatively to be like, right, how do I jump onto this and make it relatable and relevant to my community? So the way you operate on TikTok is so different. So different.
Something you said there in terms of trends is interesting because I think a lot of people that look at, again, TikTok and go, okay, we had the dancing stuff for a while. Now it's all video, which is, again, all, on camera. I don't want to be on camera, but actually it's very trend-based. And I think a lot of companies get, I'm trying to think of the word now, but they look at TikTok and go, right, my business isn't going to be applicable to every trend. But that's not a bad thing.
No.
That's not
the worst thing is when you try and make trends applicable to your brand every time. That's the problem.
100%. And again, there's so many trends and they're daily, they're hourly. This is the problem with social media. It's not like 1960 when you'd look at a newspaper and it'd be the same. And Kurt Zuma kicked a cat. No one will care in a week.
Yep.
It's absolutely gone. But actually trying to get your brand or your business aligned with every single trend, you're going to be knackered.
Yeah. One of the biggest things when we start working with new clients is tone of voice. What is your online tone of voice? And you look at the likes of Ryanair. Amazing. They've got it. They know they're self-depreciating, but that's fine. Or self-deprecating. That's fine. Because that's their brand. Paddy Power. Amazing. Always on the edge. Always there to just be little witty, little cuts. Like when they did that video with Jack Wilshere trying to get him a job. Like, so good. Because that is their tone of voice.
Yeah, or the Ryan Giggs one with his brother. Will, is it Will, is it? Is it Will? I can't remember his name.
It's so good.
It's close.
But they understand their tone of voice and they understand the community they're trying to engage, right? Some people will look at Paddy Power and just go, oh, no, not for me. Brilliant. Don't follow us then. If you look at Paddy Power and go, oh, that's amazing, follow. Because that's the type of community they want to build. Brands do not get this. But once you get your tone of voice, actually jumping on trends becomes a lot easier. Because you know what you can talk about, you know what's right, you know what your community are interested in, and then it becomes a lot easier. It's brands that don't understand their tone of voice that try and jump on every single trend that become just a parody of themselves, and it's quite boring. So it's hard. It's hard.
Can you have different tones of voice? So terms of voice and brand is something that these are terms that sometimes really fucking annoy me because brand. This word brand.
Yeah.
Some people they don't have a brand. They think they do, but you need revenue to create a brand. So from an ad perspective, people that listen to this and they know I rant on about this a lot is that I've got this brand. You haven't got a brand. You've hardly got a business. And I know it's really hard to say that, but you have not got a brand because what they look at Gymshark and go, oh, look at what Ben did.
10 years ago he started that.
Yeah, good luck. But we're not going to get there. You can have a brand, absolutely, but you've got to get some revenue there. And in terms of tone of voice, and again, TikTok or Facebook ad creative, they'll go, oh, I don't want to do that because it's a bit off brand. We haven't got a brand.
Yeah.
You haven't even got a tone of voice yet.
Yeah.
Just do what is right for the business today. When you're bigger and you've got a community, and this is what I was speaking to the guys at Electric House about.
Yeah.
When you've actually got a community, then worry about the brand and the tone of voice. But the early stages...
Yeah, what matters to that community you've built, because that is the biggest thing, right? And if you go out and say, oh, we're the greenest, eco-friendly company in the world, prove it. Don't just say it, prove it. Because if that is where you are literally laying your cap, you have to make that your life. Because if you want to build the community who are genuinely passionate about saving the environment, the content that you create will resonate with that person. If you just put stuff out because you think it's the right thing to do, you can see straight through it. And it's, honestly, I know it's like a bit buzzwordy getting that tone of voice, but it's so important as you evolve, because it helps you find what you can talk about and what you can't talk about. Innocent Smoothie, amazing. They are, for somehow, I don't know how, but they've given themselves permission to talk about the most difficult topics online. Black Lives Matter, kind of transgender movement, LGBT. Innocent Smoothie have got a position and have a stance because they believe in it. That's what their brand's all about. They want to be diverse. They want to support these communities.
But it's the community, isn't it? It's going back to that. You've got to have a community and, this brand and tone of voice. And I think tone of voice is really important because especially when you've got employees or, again, you've got a community, you all need to be singing off the same hymn sheet. I truly believe that. In terms of tone of voice, can you have a different tone per platform? So if we look at, say, Bristol updates and Birmingham, have you got a different tone on TikTok than you do on Instagram and Facebook?
Not necessarily tone, but we have a different content strategy. So, for example, the easiest piece of content we create on Instagram is a 10 things to do in February carousel, right? Okay. Super simple. Yeah. Works every time. People are interested. They'll save it. They'll refer back to it. You can't put that on TikTok. So what do? Well, you get a green screen filter with the 10 things to do and get someone Bristolian with a solid Bristol accent saying, I'm not going to do it. Here you go. These are the 10 things to do. So it's not necessarily the tone of voice changes, but it's the way you produce content for each platform. And this is the biggest problem because brands are lazy. Or companies are lazy. They'll go, oh, I've churned out this video. Well, I mean, the biggest one was John Lewis Christmas ad, right?
It was poor.
They created it for TV.
I know.
I've got no problem with that. Have you seen their TikTok video?
Yeah, it's horrendous.
They shoved it into 9:16 and whacked it on TikTok. So what are you doing? If I was them, I'd be like, right, how do I get the unexpected guest or whatever it was, the character?
Yeah.
Make that into a filter on Snapchat, and get the unexpected guest doing a dance on TikTok and pay for a trended hashtag.
They could have done so much more
because that just makes sense.
But not John Lewis.
Not just make a TV ad. Yeah, but and then I put this on LinkedIn and everyone went nuts. Right? They're like, why can you not just be kind and say they did a good job? And I was like, I'm not saying that. And they said, oh, and also their TikTok might not be interested in TikTok. So why post the video there? If TikTok isn't of interest, why have they got an account? Because
every single brand now, and unfortunately this is where later.com and these other platforms come into their own, or Hootsuite, is they produce content. Unfortunately, it's just lazy marketing.
Yeah.
They go on Hootsuite and they'll go, right, here's a thing I've done in Canva. I'm going to click TikTok, I'm going to click link. And they do it. I've seen them do it. You know,
links in your Instagram post.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that was for Facebook. Well, don't post it on Instagram then. What are you doing?
And they just do it. And but rather than what you've done there is, and it's so correct.
Because it takes time.
It takes time. But also, the content hasn't changed.
No.
In terms of the actual strategy. I'm still trying to get this message, which is 10 things to do in Bristol. I'm just delivering it in a different way. It's the delivery which is where people fall down. And again, it's not that hard now. No one can, our mobile phones, I haven't got mine in the van, but mobile phones are incredible.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people on here that, do video content and 70% of what you can do, or a videographer can do, you can do on your phone.
I know.
And something you said off camera, which was really interesting, was like, I want shit videographers. Because
sorry, Jane Josh.
Yeah. No, but in terms of the content, because sometimes it can be native. Something we speak a lot about is making sure your content is native to the platform, and that sings no truer than TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok, you can tell content that has not been made for TikTok, i.e. John Lewis.
100%. And the one of the biggest reasons, right, where companies don't start on TikTok, one, they don't understand it and they're scared. The second is they haven't got someone who can actually create content. And all of these buzzwords about, we need to use influencers and stuff, it's all nonsense. You need creators, someone that can pick up their phone and create something genius, right? So I was watching a video this morning. Adrian Bliss, one of my favorite TikTok creators, he is unbelievable. I'd love to see his fancy dress wardrobe because it must just be endless. It's insane. But he is a pure creator. He has carved out this niche for doing amazing sketch videos based on, like, there was one the other day and I was literally crying. He goes and knocks on the door of this this dentist and he's dressed as toothpaste. And he goes, "What? You're the only person that didn't recommend me. 9 out of 10 dentists recommended me and you didn't. What's that?" And honestly, it was hilarious. It was genius. And then Hayley Morris. She does TikTok sketches where she'll talk as the different body parts and different organs. So you're going on a night out and her brain's like, "Oh my God, we're going to get absolutely battered tonight." And then her liver pops up and goes, nah, not again, not again. And then her stomach just goes, "Can we order 3 pizzas?" And it's just genius.
But it's simple, isn't it?
It's simple and it works. But then you go to a client and they're just like, "Oh, no, we can't do anything like that because no."
Why is that, though?
I think they're too scared. They're too scared. I was very fortunate the other day to get the head of social for Ryanair on a webinar. And it was unbelievable. The fact that Ryanair have 1 point of sign-off. How many companies of that size have one person signing off content? Because TikTok, you've got to be quick and you've got to trust the process. And honestly, if you create content and it's got to go through 15 people to sign off, one of them will say, "I don't understand this." The other one will be like, "Oh, I'm too busy. I just say no." And by the time you get it through all of that, it's been signed off. The trend's gone. So that companies are just not set up correctly to operate on a platform where you have to think totally illogically about content. Because that's what people want to see when they're on TikTok.
Are they scared, though?
Yeah, I'm not sure scared is the right word. I just think they don't understand it.
Yeah, I think for some of the legacy brands out there and some of the older type industries, I talk a lot on here about professional services, they're dull. Solicitors, accountancy, go see mine, it's like, here we go. I'm going to charge an absolute fortune to see how his holiday was that I'm paying for. It's not fun, is it? These aren't fun industries. Yet the ones that do really well, and the ones I see, there's a couple on LinkedIn that actually do quite well. Cybersecurity, Jesus Christ. Dull as dishwater, isn't it? But there's a guy that does cybersecurity. I can't remember his name. If I saw him, I'd go, cybersecurity guy.
Yeah, that's Mr. Cybersecurity, yeah.
But that's how he's been. But
because so this is genius, right? If you're an accountant, yeah, and you're on LinkedIn, so you don't need to necessarily be on TikTok, even though I'd definitely get you on TikTok because I think it's genius. If you're an accountant, right, what do your clients actually care about? What keeps them up at night? Cash flow, procurement. Is my stock going to be delivered on time, right? So give me content that solves those problems, that helps me. It hasn't got to be anything to do with accounting. It's got to do with what is your community or your ideal customer, what are their problems? Because if I can see you on LinkedIn every time and you have an absolute belting, valuable piece of content, I'm like buzzing.
I'm so glad you started talking about this, actually, because something we talk about a lot at the moment, and it's since the update, I'm afraid, is we don't have enough data anymore from Facebook, and as you'll know, you'll know a huge amount about this, but we're trying to create our own addressable markets. So rather than going, right, we're reliant on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook for these audiences, we're creating our own, because a good example was 2 years ago, Facebook had changed the parent industry audience. So we had about 3.5 million parents, and we really good, and we had a client that sold baby products, and it was easy, turn on, fly. It went down to like 250, 300,000 overnight. Like, click of a button, we're like, oh dear, and it killed the campaign. Absolutely killed it, and that was out of our control. So what we're trying to do now is control the controllables. So if you're creating your own addressable markets, which is great, then you're in control of that. The only way you can do that, though, is through content. So like you said, then if you're an accountancy firm, rather than produce content about us or them, it's actually about your communities or your prospects or your customers. And then when they engage with that, like with TikTok, you're then being sent down a rabbit hole of You know,
Honestly, Pilot Geezer. I didn't know I was so interested in flying. Now Pilot Geezer, I follow him every day. I love him.
well, isn't there? Liv was talking about this in the office the other week. A guy who likes trains.
Francis.
Okay, you know what I'm on about. And she showed me a quick image. I was on a call, so I didn't really pay much attention, but it was like a face cam, isn't it? And then she showed me the reason why I remember it, because she said, "Oh, this is what he looks like in real life." He's quite a good-looking chap.
Yeah.
And I was like, why has he put that on TikTok? But she said I don't know.
He's now the face of Gucci and North Face.
No way.
Yeah, he's just done a campaign.
You're joking.
No. It's unbelievable. And all he does, and this is why TikTok wins, right?
Does he actually like trains?
No. There's loads of conspiracy theories, because that's what, unfortunately, Facebook is, right? It's just vitriol and chaos.
Yeah.
But he did this video to say that he loved trains, but he got bullied as a kid. So he fell out of love with trains, and he turned into how he described himself as a roadman, and it's amazing. The video is so good. And he did this video to say, like, when it went back into lockdown, he refound his love for trains. So he got this GoPro on his head and went round different train stations in the UK and just train spotted. Genius. The most authentic, genuine content I think you'll ever see. And now he has done. And what I like, and fair play to Gucci and North Face for doing this, they didn't just get him into a campaign to wear Gucci clothes. They allowed him to create. So I'm sure there was loads of money behind. I think it was with High Snobiety. And they basically created this campaign with Gucci where he went and did some train spotting wearing one of these coats. And it was genius. Genius, right? And that is what TikTok is all about. Now, the reason why I think we talked about creators rather than influencers, right, earlier. And if you go on Instagram now, there will be someone holding up a product saying, you should buy this. All that hard-earned money that you've just earned, go and buy this. Oh, by the way, I got it sent for free, but you should go and buy it. And then the week after, on some manicured beach, when there's like oil spills all around them, but that little one spot is beautiful, right? They've got another product. They're like, oh, your hard-earned money, you should go and buy this. I got it for free, but you should go and buy. And you're like, why? This is bollocks. Everybody knows that the life of an influencer is predominantly fake, yeah? And you know the ones.
All of it.
Go on then.
All of it.
Let's get that far, yeah.
Yeah.
But people just don't want that anymore. So you go on TikTok, you've got no idea what's coming next because of the For You page, and every video is authentic, it's genuine, it's funny, it's real. You see like women in dressing gowns with their hair up with no makeup because it's real. You see blokes lying on the sofa or like cooking, and you're like, they haven't worried about cleaning up behind them, so the kitchen's slightly dirty, and it's like, yes, because it is real. That is how people live.
Well,
authentic.
There's another TikToker which I saw him. I've seen this kid's face, but he doesn't say a word. You know the guy I'm on about?
Kaby Lame. I love that guy.
He doesn't say a bloody word.
50,
he's like the biggest.
50 million followers.
He's the biggest TikToker. Is that right? And
Yeah.
he's never said a word.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And he's like the Gucci now, isn't it? Is that right?
Hugo Boss.
Hugo Boss.
Yeah.
What?
Genius.
It's nuts. You know, this guy's never said a word, and he's honestly, it's baffling when you actually break this down in terms of a train spotter that got bullied as a kid, and a bloke who's just never said a word. These are people that they're influencing people.
100%.
But you know what? Generally, I quite like them as influencers. I don't know them.
Authentic.
Or still authentic, rather than some bimbo off of Made in Chelsea or someone that, you know, hey, like you said, buy this product. No one cares.
No.
You know, it's just not. It's not interesting anymore, isn't it?
And like we talked just off air, we're recording this around Valentine's Day. The number of posts I saw from companies wishing me Happy Valentine's Day with a shit graphic with their logo all over it, I do not care.
I'm gonna have to check because I don't know if we did that.
It's like, why? For my dentist, do I give a shit about you wishing me Happy Valentine's Day? Create content that I actually relate to. So you could do an amazing sketch as a dentist about the time you go to the dentist before a date, and they tell you that you have to have an injection. So you go to a date and you can't speak. Do that video, because that will be hilarious, and people will be like, oh my God, that happened to Jim. I'm going to tag Jim in that. Don't just be lazy and create a graphic. I mean, it's pointless. It's pointless. It's not fun. It's not engaging. It's not relevant. If you've done this post, I'm going to have to end this podcast right now.
Do you know what? I'm just having a quick look, but I always I think worst thing I'm fucking praying we haven't. No, we did. No, we did. No, we didn't. No.
Good.
Beautiful.
So,
cheers, Liv, who's listening to this.
Well
Cheers.
done. Well done.
Thank
So
you.
Birmingham updates, right? We went around and found funny street names that's like Spoon Drive and that kind of thing, and said Happy Valentine's Day. Because it's Brummy, so you're like, oh, I know where that is. So you'll share it with a mate. It's provocative in it. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
I think there was one that was like Mount Hill or something like that, and you see what I mean?
It could get worse than that.
Yeah, I mean, there are some worse ones. I mean, Cockfoster's really obvious if you're in London, but we did that. We didn't put a graphic saying Happy Valentine's Day from the team at Birmingham Updates because nobody gives a shit.
No one cares.
Create content that's relevant, relatable, and the panacea, right, is that you can get someone to just go, oh, that's me. If you go, oh, that's me, you're going to share it or you're going to like it, and you're going to share it on WhatsApp.
Do you know what? I'm glad you brought up WhatsApp with this shareable because we had. Do you know Mike Winnett? I don't know if you've come across him on LinkedIn. He got banned. The entrepreneur. He went around the UK just or the world actually, just everyone who's selling a course or a property course or all this stuff, and he sold out his business. He's done very well, but he went and did these courses and said, look, are these bollocks or not? And he because he got the. Brilliant, honestly. He's really good. But once he then started creating content off the back of it, and he got really good big YouTube following. Yeah. And I've now gone off total piste. I don't know what I was going to say, Oli. Basically, but you need to.
It's about WhatsApp. WhatsApp sharing.
That was it. But that was it. In terms of people producing content now, something that he is very strong. He speaks very strongly about is that shareable side of it. No one produces content to share now. Because most people will go, this is about my business, so I need to, it needs to be about me.
Yep.
Again, as we discussed, no one gives a shit.
Yep.
But sharing it's free. It's again we talk about paid, and with Facebook and Instagram, you've got to use paid now.
100%.
I know everyone's
100%.
like, oh, you can have an organic. Yeah, you can have an organic strategy.
You've got it side by side. It's got to work in tandem. 100%.
Absolutely. But that sharing with your pals on WhatsApp, and especially everyone's got groups, some groups in WhatsApp, some good, some bad, but stuff is shared in there daily.
100%.
Mine, I'm sure it pops, doesn't it? When there's something good on there, it's like, here we go again.
Yeah.
And it's just, but...
Do you know why, though? Private conversations. If I see something that I think is really funny, but I'm just like, oh, I don't think anyone else that I know is going to find that funny, but James will find that funny, I wouldn't tag you on that on Instagram, because everyone will call me out to be like, why are you doing that?
100%.
And if I get tagged and stuff on Twitter, I will then text the person just being like, that was genius, wasn't it? Because I don't want that conversation to be in public. I just don't want it to happen. And that's how people think. Whereas like-minded people or a group of friends on WhatsApp that will find funny, it may have happened on the weekend, you will take that conversation and have it privately.
But most of it's humour. And I think that's where, again, going back to those sort of more professional services type industries, I almost list all that stuff. It's not funny. Like the Indian restaurant that you worked for in Bristol that you were showing us prior to us coming online is incredible. It is. On it, Hugh is here, who of us as well. We were watching it going, I can't believe that's absolutely brilliant. They're just an Indian restaurant. Yeah. And I say just, it's quite disrespectful, but they are. There's 10 a dozen in every single town location in the UK. I've never seen anything like that, and it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, they trust us, and they just let it get away with it. Where Squid Games was on, we jumped on and did some Pop-It-On breaking, I think it was the lit game to get the thing, and then we had we did one for Valentine's Day where it's Hugh Grant commenting on how Tushar was dressed for his date. It's genius. It's not just a graphic saying Happy Valentine's Day because nobody cares.
It's fucking genius.
And I put something on LinkedIn and I was just like, okay, that worked for that client. We have some clients that Valentine's Day is not going to work. So just don't even post. Just ignore it. Move on.
We've got some clients that sell things like guttering and alike. Valentine's Day. You're not going to buy your missus a new piece of guttering, are you? It's just not going to happen. Whereas we've got some jewellery clients.
Bang.
Perfect. Absolutely. But again, it's back to that trend. If you're not brand is in line with that trend, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't feel you have to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where that scarcity comes in a lot of time. But going back to what we were saying about sharing, most of it's down to humour.
Yeah.
Social is a humorous platform everywhere. If it's TikTok,
Totally.
because we want to engage with it. We find things funny.
It's escapism.
It's escapism. When you go to the pub with your mates, I've just come back from Norway for a week, and I just laughed for 5 days solid. It's just brilliant. We're not sat there talking about work or anything. You're just and you're enjoying it, and that's where I think brands, businesses, whatever you want to call them, need to bring in some humour.
Totally. They need to bring in humour, and they need to bring in content that actually matters. Like learn on TikTok is one of the biggest hashtags all the time, right? I want to go onto that platform because I want to learn. I've never had to do in-depth accountancy. We've never had to think about, how do we employ someone overseas? If I can find that on TikTok, I'm going to follow it because it's of interest. I'm going to learn something. So it doesn't always need to be. We always say it needs to be one of 4 things, right? Inspiring, because that's a nice thing. You often share that, or you'll be like, I just feel good. I feel good. It needs to be informative, because people will go onto Instagram to see what time stuff opens, but you can put that in your story highlights. There's loads of stuff you can do. It needs to be funny, or it needs to be educational. If it's not one of those 4 things, don't post it, because there's no point.
For me, the two that whenever we do a campaign, I really focus on is either humour or education. And most of the time, it's educational. A lot of our clients are more professional service bases, so it's all educational. But I'm glad you went on to that because you're making my life a lot easier here. In terms of Instagram and TikTok, now we've seen Instagram change. It's not a picture platform now, which is my Caesar salad with no chicken or no sauce. Those days are gone. It's so true, though, isn't it?
Look at my great life I'm living.
It's
just get some Caesar sauce on there because it tastes nice.
Yeah,
It's like, just do it.
I love the Caesar on the side. The second the photo's done, they're whacking it back
whack
on.
it on, licking the bowl. Yeah,
bollocks.
But licking the bowl is a great TikTok video. Authentic.
It's authentic, and it's so true. But where do you see Instagram and TikTok? Because we've seen Instagram try and, they're trying to push Reels more. TikTok have just emerged and gone, we're taking some market share, because we as advertisers are leasing eyeballs. Something that we all need to remember, we are leasing someone's eyeballs. That's all we're doing.
Yep.
If you think it's anything else, you're nuts, because it's not. Where can you see, I can see, so I'll give you my little opinion on this. Instagram, I think, is tried to become more educational over the last probably year. They're trying to use these influencers or whatever it is to try and bring people back and keep people on their platform. TikTok starts out very quickly as the dancing platform, but actually the vast amount of over 40s on there is bigger than people think in terms of the volume.
Fastest growing age demographic on TikTok is over 55-year-olds.
Huge. No one knows that because they still think it's someone dancing. Where do you think TikTok will be going in the next year? I personally think it's down the educational route, but you obviously expertise. What are your opinions on that?
I don't think they'll change much in the next 12 months.
Okay.
I think they've just hit an absolute sweet spot where they have people enjoying the content on the platform. You see a lot of like YouTube are trying to go into YouTube Originals. Actually, they've just closed it down because it didn't quite work. But the original stuff was a big one. But the reality is, right, TikTok, as long as they don't let brands ruin the experience, that is the biggest thing. Because if I go on TikTok now, I have the most wonderful time. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's engaging, it's educational. But the way that the algorithm works, I just don't think they should play around with it. I think what they're going to do is just make TikTok bigger. Like they've just sponsored the Six Nations.
They have, yeah.
Massive.
Yeah, it's huge.
Because if they can get these platforms or these major events that people are talking about off Twitter and onto TikTok, that becomes your platform for everything. You've just pulled Twitter in. Twitter's a waste of time. Unless you're a Journo or a Newcastle United fan.
Yeah. But no, you're right. Actually, from a Twitter, because I've been on TikTok. I've got an account, and I get shown a lot of stuff. As we discussed offline.
You need to work your algorithm.
The second you interact with anyone that's showing a bit of cleavage, you've got tons of it just hammering you.
Going like Lego Talk. Lego Talk's where it's at.
Lego Talk.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's people creating.
Just people playing Lego. Love it.
just on TikTok.
Just playing Lego.
So this is it. It's simple, isn't it?
It's genius.
Like, it's so simple.
And just carve out your niche. That when we laughed with mythology, it's like there's not going to be enough people who like mythology. 220,000 people have pressed, I want more of this shit. They love it. They love it. Mythology is great. It's a niche of a niche of a niche. Kill it.
It's nuts, isn't it?
I love it.
Where do you think, well, obviously, look, advertisers can now advertise on TikToks. We know that. I'm on there.
Yep.
It's okay right now. So people listening to this, again, you guys who are running ads on TikTok, on Instagram and Facebook, we know that it's changing anyway with us. TikTok's not there yet. We've done a few campaigns and gone, from an engagement perspective, it's great.
Yep.
From an actual
conversion,
I don't think it's there yet. I don't
Not
think
yet.
it's going to be there for, in my opinion, 12 to 18 months, realistically. I think it's something that you just got to build on.
I mean, if you're a massive brand and you can run like the front page takeover awareness, fine, happy days. If you're a small business, it's not there for conversion. If you're CPA hunting, don't bother. If your campaign is wider than that, I think it's a good platform to just start putting some content out.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think that, like that the Indian restaurant in Bristol that we've spoken about, that's working. They're not obviously, look, they clearly want people to walk through their doors, and they are. Like you said, it's been so incredibly powerful for them, but they're not chasing that CPA. And I think for people listening to this who have, they're doing courses, or again they're running ads, we are chasing those lower CPMs. We want those good CPAs and all that stuff. We want that, but TikTok just isn't there yet. It's still in its infancy.
I think the problem you've got with TikTok as well, from an ads perspective, is the creative is a lot harder. Because if you're scrolling for Instagram, you're used to seeing graphics as well as videos, as well as photos. So your variety of content that you can do for ads to keep it fresh is actually quite big. You're not going to be offended if you see a graphic on Instagram. And that's where we find generally your best conversion ads come from, when they're really obvious. They tell you what exactly you need to do, right, bottom of the funnel stuff. When you go on TikTok, your video is going to come between potentially Kaby Lame doing this, arms out for those not watching, or Francis with a GoPro on his head looking hilarious watching trains. If your ad video creative is in between those two videos, which it could be, it has to be bloody brilliant. It has to be fully native to the platform. It has to grab you in 2 seconds. You have to have generally a good presenter, a good creator. It's so hard to get ad creative right for TikTok. And that's why I think we're not seeing the results that you could get.
And also, because the platform's so bloody good, you don't want to leave it.
No.
So this is the other problem, you see. Because it's so good, and you want, again, it's dopamine, it's kick, it's hit, it's like the crack cocaine, it just wants more.
More.
You don't leave the platform. So that's where Instagram and Facebook, and obviously we know, I don't know if you've seen this, but Instagram and Facebook are trying to keep you more on the platform. So they're giving us larger CPMs if you're leaving, even from an e-commerce perspective. If even though your pixel's there, if they can't truly see what's going on, Facebook is increasing those CPMs. So it's going to be interesting, which is why lead forms at the moment, we're doing some testing internally. We're seeing some amazing results with lead forms. We're doing a campaign for a hearing aid company down in Southwest, actually. Just banging out the park. Over 50s,
love it.
Hearing aids, absolutely smashing it. So from TikTok, you don't want to leave the platform.
Mm-hmm. They're not designed. They're not designed to leave the platform.
No.
So Facebook, for example, when we do organic content, we'll always put the link in the first comment. Because Facebook go, why am I trying to send you something? Do you know the best one? Here you go. When people put YouTube links on Facebook, what are you doing? Why would Facebook ever want you to send a person to their competitor? And you're like, this is nuts.
Well, that's why Instagram stopped the watermark, didn't they?
Yeah.
Fucking quickly as well.
Yeah.
I can't believe they let it go so huge. So they on Instagram, when TikTok first started, people were doing their videos on TikTok and uploading them to YouTube. To Instagram, sorry. Quickly, Instagram went, what's going on with this?
Yeah.
Probably a bit naively went, it'll be all right. And then really, obviously, TikTok just went, and they had to just quickly stop the water. So any image that had the watershed on it, Just up to they
Yes, so they just like downranked it in the algorithm. So as soon as they saw that little TikTok thing, watermark moving around,
watershed. What I'm on about.
This podcast watershed.
Yeah, that's fine.
Watermark, they just downrank it. And like I said, it's so obvious for people who actually take the time to understand the platforms that Zuckerberg makes his money when your eyeballs are on there. That is it. They don't take commission on sales.
No.
So maybe they should. I don't know. Because then, for example, they'll be more interested in sending you off to a website to complete a purchase. I mean, the rise of e-commerce on social is going to be massive. China have nailed this. Micropayments through social.
Yeah.
And it's nowhere in the UK.
No.
And I think it's coming. I mean, TikTok have just invested heavily in like their link up with Shopify. So I think that could be something that TikTok go down as well, actually, and the other platforms in terms of making it easier to buy through social.
There's still a big gap in terms of how you do that. I think why this hasn't cottoned on quicker is because of the drop shippers.
Yeah.
I reference these quite a lot on this podcast, that they support the pie for a lot of brands because it was easy, and even Amazon to a level, you can sell some shit products and you get it through the post. Look at, is it wish.com?
Mate.
That's the problem, you see. And I think some of these social platforms have gone, we can't really police this properly.
Yeah.
So actually we're not willing to. So I think, working with Shopify, Magento and those type of platforms, I think it's coming and it will definitely help further down the line. What's beautiful with e-commerce platforms or e-commerce shops and social media, and especially with the metaverse now, is how that's going to look in the next 5 years. I don't know. It's going to be crazy because, in my opinion, the high street's gone. I don't care who says it. The high street as we know it today is not going to be there. Anything all the garments we buy, shoes, you don't need anymore. You can just buy online, and you're always going to, because cost-wise, it's cheaper to buy online anyway. So why would you?
Yeah, and the pandemic changed all of this.
Yes,
because if you're working from home, the biggest issue with shopping online when you used to work in an office was delivery. Pain in the ass. Companies didn't want your Amazon, ASOS, etc. ordered to the office. You felt slightly guilty doing it. So now you work from home potentially 2-3 days a week. Christ, that's my delivery day. Bang. Just get all your Amazon stuff delivered on that one day, your ASOS, your da-da-da-da-da. All of a sudden, it's become so easy and accessible to do. Shipping was the problem.
Shipping, but also from a lot of these brands where you couldn't properly feel the product. You didn't really know what you were buying. With social and with e-commerce and the metaverse and all the rest of it, and even TikTok now, if you can have someone really take you through the product demo and all that stuff, and again, very quickly, because of things like TikTok, I truly believe e-commerce is just going to keep going and going and going. Even from, things like sofas and that. I know that you always want to sit on a sofa, but, I've spoken to some sofa brands recently that are really focusing on this e-commerce in the next 5 years going, we will have some showrooms, of course we will, but we do see a huge growth online. We won't need a DFS in every single location in the UK. We may only need massive hubs.
I feel sorry for the signage companies that won't print the sale signs for DFS every 5 minutes.
Well, they need to get online, don't they? Get on the metaverse and start doing it on there. But this is it. The online space is just going to keep evolving, and it's TikTok is just I think personally from an educational content perspective, made everyone else think, which has been nice for me. I think it's made people, especially that have got just used to Instagram, they got used to Facebook ads, it become quite easy to a level. I think they've just thrown a spanner in the works and gone, have a go at this.
And the creative is harder because TikTok has basically made content creation so simple. Like I said off air, we did a video the other day from idea to posting in 15 minutes, and it got 325,000 views.
Wow.
Why would you pay a video agency when you can do that in 15 minutes?
And that was just on someone's phone, I'm guessing.
Someone's phone. Literally, ring light, tripod, jumped on a trend, green screen filter on TikTok, bang, 15 minutes, 325,000 views. Nuts.
So no one's got an excuse, have they?
No.
No one?
No. The hardest thing is what's the idea?
Okay.
And this is where I think the world of agency is now going to change quite drastically, because you can run Facebook and Instagram in-house. It's not hard. Organic. Paid is hard because you have specialists.
No,
right?
no. You can. I truly. And I speak about this when I do my talks. Anyone, and we've got 15 shows booked this year. And my first line to everyone is, don't go to an agency unless you've tried it yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're actually getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And that's where, unfortunately, you'll get stung by charlatans.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of them in our market,
Totally.
which isn't good. And there's some very good agencies out there, amazing ones. But there are a lot of people that don't understand it. They put it on their website and go, "Oh, we do this," and they actually don't.
Barrier to entry is a phone. It's not, that's it.
No, and that's it. So something I say to everyone, whether it's TikTok, paid ads, organic, and I personally believe that business owner or marketing manager or whomever should have tried it themselves to a level so that when they go to market and look for an agency, go, "Oh, I get this and I know what he's talking about." Because if you don't, that's where you're going to find yourself caught short.
I totally agree. Yeah, no, I can't argue with that at all. I think the big thing, especially when it comes to agencies of the future, it's the ones that can offer that guidance, that support, and that level of expertise. Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, you said earlier, like later Hootsuite, you can schedule posts in 5 minutes. It's not hard.
It's become lazy.
But
with trends, how on earth on Hootsuite can you set something to go out in 2 weeks' time if we know trends are changing hourly?
I mean, 50 Cent hung upside down at the Super Bowl halftime show, right? Bang, meme. Done. You didn't know that was going to happen 2 weeks ago when you were scheduling your post, do you?
Can you actually? I've got something for you because you're a content. So obviously the Super Bowl show, only half the fucking stage was seen, only half the audience. So I was speaking to someone last night who was there.
Yeah.
He was on the other side. They didn't see it. Half the stadium didn't see the fucking show. He'd paid a fortune. He was actually with Gary Vee. I know we're speaking about this offline.
Love it.
They couldn't see any of the show. That's a meme, surely.
That's unbelievable.
Just in the background, and obviously these tickets are a fortune, aren't they, for the Super Bowl?
Unbelievable.
They didn't see it.
Well, you could be Kanye and just wear your
you could. Well, I said, why didn't they crisscross it? So he had like some point. So when they went down,
because it's designed for TV, isn't it?
I know, but they didn't see it. That was it.
Amazing.
That was it. So yeah, he paid all that money.
But just go back to your point there, right?
Sorry.
The Super Bowl, 13th of Feb, Valentine's Day, 14th of Feb. Yeah. Meme galore. Mary J. Blige laying there like this. There's loads of amazing memes that you could do. 50 Cent hanging upside down. You can't plan for that.
No.
But you can plan for, I think something could happen. So we have our content that we think can work.
Yeah.
But let's not just discount a meme that we can create from the Super Bowl. And you have to do it like that. At Nonsensical, we have something called the Meme Factory. And every day, the agency, the content creators will jump on a call. They will go through TikTok and look at what's trending. They will go around like what's happening on Love Island, this, that, and the other, Super Bowl, and say, right, what is trending? Go down each of our clients and be like, how can this work? Could this work? If not, fine. Don't worry about it. The next one will be fine. But for the clients where it can work, we're like, bang, right, we need to create this content today. And we need to do it in the next 4 hours.
Do you know what? You're right in terms of how agencies are going to have to adapt because it's such a quick, fast-paced market now. The large agencies that we all know and they've done very, very well, they're going to have to either acquire companies like yourselves who are quick, or they're going to have to move with the times because they will get left behind. And what's interesting is those smaller brands that will use the smaller agencies will start, that gap between the big boys and them will start shrinking.
Totally.
It's going to have to.
Totally. And like I said, that anyone can create content that can go viral on TikTok. It doesn't matter how many followers you've got. The first video we posted on Endless Pride, literally the first video, got 125,000 views.
Wow. Well, your views, actually, I've got some stats here. So you've done, I know obviously these are on your website, so these probably aren't up to date. So they're probably a vast amount more. 26 million views.
Yeah.
That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah. So that we did that. That's on Endless Mythology, isn't it?
I don't know. It's just on your website, 26. Yeah. Wow.
And that's in 10 months.
Shit.
2.6 million views a month.
Wow.
From a standing start.
And by the sounds of it, not much for either.
No. It's nuts. So, I shouldn't have told this, but Izzy...
No, it's true.
Izzy in our team, she makes a video for Endless Mythology in an hour.
Legend.
So 1 hour a day, we just carve out her day and just say, right, make a video, make a video.
But it's something that she's interested in.
That's the key. That is the key.
And this is why, marketing managers, marketing teams annoy me to a level. A lot of things annoy me, but they're frustrated because they go into a business. Again, we use like the professional. They've got no interest in it.
No, you've got to love it.
So if you've got no interest in it, how can you, again, be humorous about that topic, or how can you make it educational? Because I'll just sit there and go, oh, right, Hootsuite. There's no love there. And that's why the smaller brands grow quickly and a lot of time, and which is why I love people like Ryanair, because they've gone, actually, no, we're not going to have this huge hierarchy of sign-off. We're going to go, we trust you, Dave, or Ben, or Sandra, whatever your name is, and go, crack on. It's like, Marks and Spencers and these guys that, start commenting on each other. It's genius.
Love it. Beans on Weetabix broke the internet.
What's that about?
So good.
No, that's ridiculous. Even that annoys me now. How has that worked? Who on earth?
But it was the responses. The responses are genius.
What I
like Tinder. I'm going to swipe left on this. Like classic. Specsavers. I think you guys need help. Like genius.
But those brands now, I think they've cottoned on to it, haven't they? They've noticed they've got to do it.
Yeah. Duolingo are the best on TikTok, by the way.
Okay.
They're so funny.
Yeah.
So good. Them and Ryanair are always just chatting in the comments as well. Funny.
There's one that that Nick always sends me, and it's an Asian guy, and he I don't know what he just does. What he just weird stuff. He doesn't say a word. I have to say I don't even know. Don't even know if I can say it on here. But he's just some weird stuff. He'll like cut things. I don't know. I'll have to send you it. But it's very odd, very strange. But
I'm interested.
He's got millions and millions of views. This guy. Again, no, just rubbish. It's not even.
I can't wait to see this.
It's just odd. It's odd, but it's these bigger brands.
I completely agree, and we work with Birmingham City University. We work with Birmingham Ormiston Academy, 2 education providers who have to be on TikTok. Like, you just have to be. If you're trying to get 16, 17-year-olds into your uni or college, like, why are you not on TikTok? And we went to them and said, look, we don't necessarily know what the content you should be doing. And we said this as an agency to them. We said, but we know who does, and that's all your students. So what we will do is we will get an army of students trained up who can create cool content, and we'll just work with them. We know how to film it. We know how to write briefs. We know how to make stuff get done on time. We know how to edit quickly. But we just need the students to get their phones out and capture content. Send it to us. We'll edit it together and post it.
Brilliant.
Because you have to understand your community, you have to understand your audience. And this is, like you said it perfectly, Izzy is a machine when it comes to mythology and pride because she's motivated by, she's interested in those things. So making content is fun. If you're doing content for an accountant and you're not remotely interested in it, you are never going to have a good time.
I just want to say, anyone who's an accountant, we do need you.
We love you.
We
love you. You're great. You get us out of trouble.
Without you, we're screwed. But no, but just make your content a bit more funny.
Yeah. But now also, right, LinkedIn is the worst platform I've ever seen, because you go on TikTok and you have the best time in the world, and then you go on LinkedIn and there's just salespeople saying how they gave £10 to a homeless man and now they're the best thing since sliced bread, right? People think LinkedIn is shit. You can win LinkedIn with thought-provoking, interesting content that gets people to comment and share.
Do you know what? Hard. No, it's not. And LinkedIn's a funny one for me, actually, because I've got people internally that go, I'll say I want to do something, and they'll go, can't do it. And I'm like, I think we should. And they're like, it's a bit. And I'll go, yeah, but it's fine. It's how we talk internally.
The brand.
So
tone of voice. There you go. Some people will like it, some people won't.
Absolutely. But then we've had a couple of clients look at our old website and went, a couple of swear words on there. And I've gone,
yep.
Fucking hell, there's only one. And that wasn't that bad.
Have you met me?
And it's nuts. But it's really hard because I've got people internally that say, look, James, I'm not sure about this, which is fine. I get it. Yeah. But it is boring, isn't it?
You need buy-in from the top. You need buy-in from the bottom. You need buy-in at every level.
That's the problem, is the bottom. They won't let me do it. They're bollocks.
Maybe they're more intelligent than you, James.
No, they probably are. This is the problem. They are more intelligent. They've gone, absolutely not, James. Are you doing that? But you are right. LinkedIn is a place where you can. It's why Mike Winnett, I mentioned earlier, it's why he cleaned up on there, because it was just...
There's a guy, I can't remember his name, it's really annoying me, but he does his TikTok videos about agency life, Post on LinkedIn. Genius.
Yeah, and there's also a guy called
Genius.
Tom. He does Sales Loft. I think he works for. He does and his is just all TikTok stuff.
Yeah.
Put it on LinkedIn, and he gets. I wouldn't say he gets hundreds, but he gets tens of comments. But clearly, it's his marketplace because people are engaging with it. Are in sales and they like doing sales manager versus this BDM and all that stuff, and it's cool, it's quirky,
and it works for them. It works for their community because sometimes you will go on social and start that doesn't make sense, and it's good. It's not made to make sense to me. I'm not their target market, and that's fine.
I describe it as reading music. There's only certain people that can read music.
Yeah,
I want it to resonate with those. Your language will not resonate with everybody.
Yeah.
That is the reality. Whether it's your brand, tone of voice, your product, service, whatever it is, not everybody can read what you're saying. But you want the ones that can read it.
Yeah, totally.
That's the ones you want.
And you want them to go, my God, it's the best thing ever.
Well, it's like TikTok, like that Indian restaurant. I was quite surprised that they're spending money with an agency like you, because everyone probably can think now and go, your local Indian restaurant, they're not going to spend huge amounts on advertising. They'll put a bit of fill. They'll put a leaflet for your letterbox.
Yeah.
What you're doing with that company in Bristol is incredible, But they've gone really outside the box. You now, as an agency, nonsensical. You're probably not going to go out to every single Indian restaurant in the UK.
No, because
they're not your market.
No. And the reason why is because that will not work for most Indian restaurants. Urban Tandoor it is, if you want to go and check it out. Urban Tandoor, right, get it. Their tone of voice online, what they want to portray, the experience you get on social is exactly the experience you get in the restaurant. Yeah? Amazing. If I try to do that for other Indian restaurants, I'm putting square pegs in round holes because they don't believe in it. It's not it's not what they believe in. It's not what they actually exist to do. The CEO of Urban Tandoor is just like, I want everyone to have a great time, show personality, and that's what my social media is going to reflect. And that's the biggest thing. It's by far the biggest thing.
It's probably why every accountant social is boring, because when you go in, they're dull.
Maybe. I don't know. Sorry, accountants.
My accountant, I love him. He's an absolute genius. He's always on like an holiday. I can never get hold of the guy.
Love it.
Ever. He's always there.
No, I just think it's so crucial for you to be able to understand what it is that you want from social. Because
going with a goal, going with a name.
Going with a goal, going with an aim, going with trust. And like I think that concept of try it yourself before you outsource, I think is 100% correct.
Oh yeah.
But you've got, and the thing with us, I mean, we're called nonsensical. You're not going to get pretty straight down the line ideas, right? It's just not going to happen. We work with a coffee company, and they're a B Corp, super ethical. For April Fools, we did a whole rebrand for them to call them the Gold Coffee Company, and we did a video where my the client was dressed like all like ruffled hair and stuff, and he basically worked on one of the coffee beans, just like, yeah, and you're going to work for a penny an hour, and it was just like the opposite of what they believe in.
Yeah.
Genius. Best video they've done.
Simple, isn't it?
Because they understood it. They got it. They trusted us, right?
Love it.
But you can't really do that internally because your marketing manager or marketing director has got so many other pressures. Everything's got to join up. What are you doing with that latest press release? What are you doing with your SEO? What are you doing with your PPC? Oh, social. You got to think of some ideas for Valentine's Day. It's like, fuck, create a graphic and piss off. Like,
yeah, a marketing manager now is not a marketing manager of old.
No.
Because, it's not just, let's do an email campaign and do some call. There's too many strings to their bow. They need outsource resource. It doesn't matter because you cannot be a Google expert, a Facebook, an Instagram, an organic, a TikTok. I could go on and on.
Well,
a copywriter,
social media manager. Christ,
I can't.
If you write a job description for a social media manager today, right?
I can't comment. It'll annoy me because you can't have one.
You can't.
You'd need 4.
Literally, you need a creative, you need a copywriter, you need an analyst, you need an ideas person, you need a videographer, a photographer, a graphic designer.
People listening to this now are running out going, shit, that's a lot.
Yeah, totally.
But it's true.
It's true. And that's where I think agencies win because they can tap into all of that, which is really important. But now, with TikTok, I need you to be a presenter as well.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to be epic on camera. So I don't want to do that.
Wow.
That's not why I got into social media, because I don't like that particular aspect.
No.
It's my team always say this. It is one of the hardest jobs, social media manager, because you spend all of your time creating really cool content, and sometimes it just flops.
I would say 99% of the time.
Yeah.
We work on I say this a lot, a 1% success rate. Our industry is 1%.
Yeah.
That's what, if you look at that from a model, you go, you're nuts. But it's true. You know, we work off a 1% success rate as an agency, as a marketing person, whether that's email marketing, whether that's SEO, you know, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We are a 1% business. You're nuts, really.
And how many agencies are there in the UK? 26,000?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There won't be many. There won't be that many in a year. There won't be. I can categorically say that.
Well, I think what the most interesting thing is, like, the whole thing around authenticity is not just on social media now, it's in business.
Yeah.
And like you said, being able to turn away clients that you just don't need us.
No.
Like, we turned down some business the other day. I was just like, don't spend $1,000 a month on us. Just don't do it.
No.
Like, go and read this book, do this course, give it a go. If you need us then because it's not quite working or you haven't got the time, fine, come back. But and I genuinely believe agencies are turning into, well, some of them are happy to say that because we're authentic. We understand the problems and the challenges that you have internally, but also we understand sometimes how quick and easy it is to make content.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, you know, having just an idea of what's going on yourself before you go out to market, I just think it's the number one advice for anyone that's going out to hopefully get outsourced resource, because, you know, you can get caught short. I know I've spoke to hundreds in the Facebook marketing world that have been caught short, and they're still not ready for an agency now. You know, we've spoke to loads, and I've said, you're not ready. And I spoke to a lady 2 weeks ago, and she got really annoyed, going, no, I want to use an agency. I said, okay, you can do, but your market's not big enough within this small area of London. I said, the borough she's in, even if I was to run it, I can't, there's not enough there. So I gave her some ideas, and you could tell she was deceiving. I could take your money, and I said, look, I could take your money today, but you're in a contract and you can't get out of it.
Yeah.
Or you can take my advice. She said, oh, well, I was told by a freelancer. I said, well, use the freelancer then, but I'm just giving the heads up. I would just do it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where that authenticity comes. You know, I don't preach that on LinkedIn very much or at all, but you know, it's finding those agencies that give a shit, you know, isn't it? And once you've found a good one like yourselves or us from a Facebook or Instagram paid perspective, you know, you're in good hands and you're well looked after. But Ollie, look, we're gonna have to leave it there. Where can people find out more about you? Your TikTok, obviously TikTok. But yeah, obviously, like I said, a lot of people who listen to this are running Facebook and Instagram ads. I think there's loads of content and you guys can help them with. So where can they find out more about you?
So website's probably best, nonsensical.agency. If you are on TikTok, then nonsensical.tiktok is our handle on that platform. But yeah, for us, we're really niching down into the world of TikTok. We think we've got a real special proposition. We didn't talk about TikTok on demand, where we got this kind of roster of presenters that we can call upon to create content. So
you can come again.
Absolutely, love to. No, it's been great. So yeah, nonsensical.agency for all your TikTok needs.
Ollie, thank you for coming on, mate. And a pleasure to hear you. Take care.
Appreciate that.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.